You woke up this morning and your legs felt a little heavier than yesterday. Maybe you grabbed the railing on the stairs without thinking. Maybe you had to push off the armrest just to get out of your chair. And part of you is starting to wonder, is this just aging? Is this just what getting older feels like? Because nobody warned you about this. Your doctor checks your blood pressure every visit, your cholesterol, your heart. But has anyone ever tested your muscle? Has anyone sat across from you and said, let's talk about what's happening to your body's engine? Almost certainly not. And here's what that silence is costing you. Every single year after the age of 70, the average person loses 1 to 2% of their muscle mass. Every year. That doesn't sound like much until you do the math. By the time most seniors notice they feel weak, notice they're struggling with stairs or groceries or getting up from the floor, they've already lost 30 to 40% of the muscle they had at 40, gone quietly, without a single test, a single warning, a single conversation. The medical term is sarcopenia, muscle loss with age. And the reason it terrifies researchers who study it, the reason it should terrify you, is that muscle isn't just about looking strong. Muscle is what keeps you upright. It's what catches you when you slip. It's what gets you off the floor if you fall. It's what determines whether you live independently at 82, or whether someone else has to help you get dressed. And the cruelest part? The advice most seniors get, walk more, stay active, keep moving, is not enough to stop it. I am not saying walking is bad. Walking is wonderful, but walking is aerobic. Sarcopenia is a different problem entirely. It requires something called resistant stimulus. Your muscles need to be loaded against force. They need to work against something. Without that specific signal, your body breaks down muscle protein faster than it builds it, no matter how many steps you log on your watch. You can walk 5 miles a day and still lose this battle. I have seen it. I will tell you about it in just a moment. But here is the thing I want you to hold on to right now. This is not inevitable. The research on this is not subtle. It is not preliminary. It is clear, it is consistent, and it is deeply hopeful. Your muscles, even at 70, even at 80, respond to the right stimulus. They rebuild, they adapt. That is not my opinion. That is biology. A landmark study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2019 followed 3,200 adults over the age of 70 for 5 years. Researchers tracked who was doing aerobic activity, as walking, cycling, swimming, and who was doing any form of resistance training at least twice a week. The results were striking. The group doing resistance training just twice a week lost 62% less muscle mass than the walking-only group. Let me say that again so it really sinks in. 62% less muscle loss. Same age range, same 5-year window. The only difference was resistance training twice a week. That is not a small effect. That is the difference between independence and dependence. That is the difference between carrying your own groceries and needing someone to carry them for you. I want to tell you about Earl. Earl is 74 years old, and he was, by any reasonable standard, an active man. He walked 5 miles every single day, rain or shine, without fail. He was proud of it, and he had every right to be. But around age 72, something started to shift. He noticed it first on the stairs. He had to slow down. Then it was the grocery bags. A gallon of milk felt heavier than it used to. Then it was the simple act of standing up from a chair at a restaurant. He told his wife he felt like he was moving through water. His doctor ran blood work. Everything came back normal. "You're doing great," his doctor told him. "Keep walking." But Earl kept getting weaker. Then a physical therapist introduced him to 3 specific resistance movements. Simple ones: a chair stand, a wall push, a resistance band row. 15 minutes, 3 times a week. That's it. 12 weeks later, his grip strength had improved measurably. His stair speed, literally how fast he could safely climb stairs, had increased. His standing balance assessment scores improved. When he went back to his doctor and shared what had happened, his doctor looked at the numbers and said, "Keep doing whatever you're doing." Earl laughed when he told me that. He said, "Why couldn't he have just told me that 2 years ago?" Today I am going to give you what Earl's doctor didn't. I am going to give you the 3 specific moves that address the exact biological mechanism behind muscle loss after 70. I am calling this the 3-move fix. And before you assume this is going to be complicated or require equipment or a gym membership, I need you to hear this. It takes less than 15 minutes, and the only piece of equipment in the entire routine is a single resistance band. One band. That's it. These three moves together form a complete circuit: a push pattern, a pull pattern, and a leg pattern. Between the three of them, they hit every major muscle group your body needs to stay upright, strong, and independent. Think of it as the minimum viable workout, the least you need to do to halt sarcopenia and start turning the tide. Now, before I give you move 1, I need to tell you about move 3, because I want you to stay with me all the way through. Move 3 is the resistance band row, and it targets the most neglected muscle group in seniors, the upper back and biceps, the pulling muscles. Most seniors never train their pull. They do chest, they do arms, they walk. But the pull pattern is what keeps your posture upright, what prevents the forward hunch, what protects your spine and your shoulders. A study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research in 2021 looked at 847 adults aged 65 and older who did seated resistance band training, just this one type of movement, twice a week for 12 weeks. They gained an average of 18% upper body strength, and their fall risk assessment scores dropped by 29%. 29% lower fall risk in 12 weeks from one movement twice a week. Stay with me to the end because that is exactly what I am going to walk you through step by step. Let's start with move 1, the chair stand. This is the foundation. This is the move that will most directly determine your independence over the next decade. The chair stand targets your quadriceps and your glutes, the two largest and most functional muscle groups in your body. These are the muscles that get you out of a chair, up off the floor, up a flight of stairs. When these muscles weaken, everything else follows. Research consistently shows that leg strength, specifically the ability to stand from a seated position, is one of the strongest predictors of functional independence in adults over 70. Here's how you do it safely. Sit toward the front of a sturdy chair. Your feet should be flat on the floor, about hip-width apart. Now, lean slightly forward from your hips, not your back, from your hips, so your nose is roughly over your toes. Then press through your heels and stand. Don't use your hands. If you need to use your hands at first, that is perfectly fine. Use the armrests, lower yourself into it. But the goal, over time, is to do this without your hands. That shift is where the work happens. Start with 5 repetitions. Rest 30 seconds. Do another 5. That's 1 set. 2 sets is enough to begin. As this becomes easier, and it will become easier, you progress. First, you remove the hand support completely. Then you slow it down. 3 seconds to stand, 3 seconds to sit. The slow, eccentric, that controlled lowering, is where you build the most strength. It puts the muscle under tension longer and forces more adaptation. After a few weeks, you can hold a light weight at your chest, a can of soup, a small water bottle, a 1 or 2 pound dumbbell. You don't need much. The load is not the point. The stimulus is the point. Your muscles just need to know they are being challenged. And here's what I want you to understand about the chair stand. Every single time you do this movement, you are telling your nervous system that your legs are still needed. You are sending a signal your body cannot ignore. Your body responds to what you ask of it. If you sit all day, it conserves muscle because the message it receives is, we don't need this. When you stand and sit deliberately, repeatedly, with intention, the message changes, and your body listens. Now, I want to check in with you. How does that feel? Because I know some of you are watching this and thinking, I can barely get out of a chair as it is. That's exactly why this move is first. You build the chair stand first. Everything else becomes more possible. Don't skip it because it seems too simple. Simple is the whole point. Let's move to move 2, the wall push. This is your upper body push pattern, and I chose this specific movement, a wall push, not a floor push-up, for one reason: 0 floor required. You don't have to get down. You don't have to get back up. You can do this standing right now with nothing but a wall. That eliminates the single biggest barrier to upper body resistance training for seniors. The wall push targets your chest, your triceps, and your shoulders. Together, those 3 muscle groups do something critical. They are what you use to push yourself up. Up from the floor if you fall. Up from a low seat. Up from a bathtub. These are emergency muscles, And they are almost universally undertrained in seniors because most programs focus on legs and aerobic capacity. Here's the technique. Stand about an arm's length from a wall. Place your hands flat on the wall at shoulder height, slightly wider than shoulder width. Your body should be in one straight line, from your heels to your head. Don't let your hips sag or your back arch. Now, bend your elbows and lean your chest toward the wall. Slowly, under control. Then push back to the start. That's 1 repetition. The range of motion matters here. Go as far as you safely can. If your shoulders are stiff, you may only come a few inches toward the wall at first. That's fine. You are working the muscle through whatever range is available to you, and that range will grow. Start with 8 repetitions. Rest. Do another 8. 2 sets. As this becomes easier, step back from the wall, 6 inches, then a foot. The farther your feet are from the wall, the more of your body weight you are pressing. You can also move to a counter or a desk, lower than a wall, harder angle. Eventually, some of you will work up to an incline push-up on a sturdy couch or step. But the wall is where we start, and the wall is enough. Something I tell every person I work with: the push and the pull are a pair. You cannot train one without the other. Your chest and your back are on opposite sides of the same hinge. If you strengthen one and ignore the other, you create an imbalance that pulls your shoulders forward, compresses your spine, and accelerates postural decline. That's the setup for the rounded back, the forward head, the stooped posture that so many people assume is just an inevitable part of getting old. It is not inevitable. It is a training deficit. And move 3 fixes it. And now we've arrived at the final move, the one I've been building towards since the beginning. The resistance band row. I want you to really hear why this matters before we get into technique. Think about the posture of someone who has lost significant muscle mass in their upper back. The shoulders roll forward, the chin juts out, the upper back rounds. That position compresses the discs in your neck and upper spine. It makes breathing shallower. It pulls your center of gravity forward, which increases your fall risk. It is one of the most visually obvious and functionally devastating consequences of muscular imbalance in aging. And the muscle group responsible for preventing all of that, the rhomboids, the middle trapezius, the rear deltoids, the biceps, is exactly what the band row trains. That 2021 study I mentioned, 847 adults, 65 and older, just this movement, twice a week, 12 weeks, 18% upper body strength gain, 29% drop in fall risk scores. Let me say that again so it really sinks in. 29% lower fall risk from one movement, twice a week. That number should be on the front page of every health magazine aimed at seniors. It's not, but you now know it. Here is how to do the band row. Sit in a sturdy chair. Loop your resistance band around something at waist height, a table leg, a door handle, a bedpost. Hold one end in each hand with your arms extended in front of you. Sit up tall. Now, pull both handles toward your hips, squeezing your shoulder blades together as you pull. Elbows go back and down, not up and out. Hold for 1 second at the end of the pull, then slowly return to the start. 3 seconds, slow and controlled. That slow return is where the magic happens. If a band loop doesn't work for your setup, try this. Hold one end of the band with both hands, anchor the center with your foot while seated, and row from there. There are many ways to make this work. The mechanics are what matter: pull, squeeze, hold, return. Start with 10 repetitions, 2 sets. Focus on feeling your back muscles do the work, not your arms. Many people default to pulling with their biceps. Think about pulling your elbows into your back pockets. That mental cue shifts the load to the right place. As you get stronger, use a shorter grip on the band for more resistance, or use a slightly stiffer band. Progress is not about more exercise. It is about the right stimulus, incrementally increased. Do these 3 moves together, in sequence, 3 times a week. It will take you 15 minutes. Chair stands, wall pushes, band rows, legs, push, pull. That is a complete circuit. That is the minimum effective dose to halt sarcopenia and start rebuilding what time has taken. Now, let's bring this all together. You started this video feeling something, maybe worry, maybe that quiet frustration of a body that seems to be changing faster than you expected. I want you to know what you're feeling is real, and it makes complete sense. Because for too long, the medical system has measured everything about you except the thing that determines your quality of life most directly. But here's what I need you to take away today. Your muscles are not gone. They are waiting. They respond to stimulus at any age. The research is clear, and the mechanism is biological, not motivational, not metaphorical. You give your muscles a challenge. They adapt. You do it consistently. The adaptation compounds. 12 weeks from now, you could be a measurably different person. Earl was. Please hear this important note before you begin. If you have any joint replacements, recent surgeries, osteoporosis, or any condition affecting your balance or bone density, check with your physician before starting any new exercise program. These moves are designed to be safe and gentle, but you know your body and your history better than any video can. Start conservatively, listen to your body, and progress slowly. If this video helped you, if something I said today clicked, or gave you a little more hope or a little more clarity, do me a favor and give it a thumbs up right now. And type the number 1 in the comments if it was helpful, or type 0 if I can do better. That feedback genuinely shapes what I make next. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I publish content specifically designed for adults over 60, evidence-based and practical, nothing trendy and nothing complicated. And before you close this tab, think about one person in your life who could use this today. A spouse, a sibling, a friend who keeps saying they feel weaker but doesn't know what to do. Share this with them. What took me years to learn, and what took Earl 2 years of struggling before anyone told him, you now have it. Pass it on. I want to leave you with one question, and I genuinely want to hear your answer in the comments. What is the one physical thing you want to be able to do again, or keep doing, more than anything else? Is it getting on the floor to play with grandchildren? Climbing stairs without holding the railing? Carrying your own bags through an airport? Tell me, because that answer is your reason. And your reason is what's going to get you off the couch 3 times a week. Next time, I'm going to talk about something that almost nobody connects to muscle loss, and that's sleep. Specifically, what happens to your muscle protein synthesis during the hours you are unconscious, and the one simple habit shift that can increase your overnight recovery by a measurable amount. You will not want to miss it. You showed up today. That matters more than you know. Now, go do one chair stand. Just one. That's how it starts.